Good evening everyone. Welcome to this edition of News Today. My name is Anuj and I will be taking News Today discussion for 23rd October. In today's News Today, we will be covering 6 main news and 8 also in news. In first main news, we will be covering about proposed amendment by Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology to IT Rules 2021 to regulate AI generated content. In second and third news, we will be covering about the report published by Office of Principal Scientific Advisor. The first report is related to small and medium enterprises and the second report is related to AI in agriculture. Okay. The fourth news is also related to a report. The name of the report is Global Forest Resource Assessment and that report has been released by FAO. Okay. Then we will be discussing about Sevilla Forum on Debt. And lastly, we will be covering about the early warning for everyone. Okay, this will be the main news. Also in news, we will be covering about edible oil, tapioca, International Convention for Suppression of the Financing of Terrorism, GEMEX, State of Global Air Report, methane emission, quantum echoes algorithm, and Patna Sahib Gurudwara. Okay, so these are the main news and quick updates for today. Let us move to the first main news. So what is the first main news? So whenever you are reading newspaper, the Hindu or Indian Express, you can see such type of news and identify that these news are important for UPSC. The first news is that MIT has proposed amendment to IT rules. In this news, we will be covering what are the amendment proposed and for what amendment has been proposed. Okay, this is related to GS paper 2, which talk about important aspect of governance, transparency and accountability. So let us deep dive into the discussion. Okay, so first of all, let us understand the context of the news. Okay, so the context here is that MIT has proposed amendment to the Information Technology Intermediary Guidelines and Digital Media Ethics Code Rules of 2021. And from where that MIT has gained power to amend these rules? From the Information Technology Act, okay, of 2000. So we will be discussing about the key amendment proposed and what was the need for those amendment. Okay. So let us discuss the key amendment. Okay, first, it has defined synthetically generated information, that is also known as deepfakes and AI related information or AI generated information. Okay, so how it has defined? It has defined that information that is artificially or algorithmically created, generated, modified or altered using a computer resource in a manner that appear reasonably authentic or true. So let us understand where it will be applicable. It will be applicable on social media. Okay. It won't be applicable to your notes. Suppose you are making notes using AI, then these amendment won't be applicable. Okay, and it will be applicable to text, okay, speech and video. Okay, text, speech and video. Okay, the second amendment is that they have proposed mandatory declaration. So suppose I am making a video or I am writing some speech or text. So I have to declare that this speech or this text has been written or has been produced by using AI. So that is the second amendment. What is the third amendment? The third amendment is that it had enhanced obligation for social media intermediaries. Okay. Social media intermediaries are Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, etc. So it will be applicable for those. So before moving forward, let us understand about safe harbor. Okay, what is safe harbor? Suppose I am writing something on Twitter. Will be Twitter liable for the information which I am providing on the Twitter? Okay, the answer is no at the first instant. Twitter won't be liable. But if government notified that this information which is provided by me on Twitter is dangerous or defamatory, then the Twitter has to remove that information. And if Twitter is not removing that information, then it will become liable for that information. So that is the meaning of safe harbor. At first instant, the YouTube or the social intermediaries will not be liable for the information which is published on their platform. But if the government has notified, then they are responsible and they have to remove that information. Okay. Now, understanding what was the need for the amendment. Okay. Now, when everyone is talking about AI and deepfakes and everything, so there is need to regulate them as well. Okay. So, what is the first main issue? That is national security risk. Okay. At the time of Operation Sindoor, you might have seen many videos which was circulated by Pakistan that our fighter jet has been attacked. Okay. So such type of misinformation should not be spread. So that is why this amendments are necessary. Second, it will also stop spreading of misinformation. As I have already given the example of Operation Sindoor, but in general as well, these amendments will be responsible for stopping misinformation. Third, it will stop gender-based harm. You might have heard about the Rasmika Mandana case where her video was circulated. Even our honorable Prime Minister in Man Ki Baat has said that deepfake has resulted into many videos which are not authenticated and it lead to damage of individual reputation. That is why it leads to defamation as well, in which it can damage the reputation of an individual. Okay. It will also stop the frauds. Okay, you might be hearing about digital arrest, social engineering. So these type of attack will be stopped by these amendments. Okay, so this is the first main news, and we will discuss one PYQ related to this. So this is a prelims question in which the question asks about the present state of development artificial intelligence can effectively do which of the following. So important aspect here is that present state of development, that is of 2020, not today. Okay. Okay. So the option are bring down electricity consumption in industrial unit. Second, create meaningful short stories and songs. Third, disease diagnosis. Fourth, text to speech conversion. Fifth, wireless transmission of electrical energy. Okay. So even today, wireless transmission of electrical energy is not possible by AI. Okay, that's a fact. But at that time, AI was not able to produce short stories or songs. Today it is possible. Okay, AI is making so many songs, but at that time it was not possible. So answer was 1, 3 and 4. But suppose the same question comes today, then the answer will be 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, that is the changing nature of technology. Okay. So now we will move to the second main news. Okay, the second main news is about the report that is transforming small businesses, and AI playbook for India's SMEs has been released. Okay, so in this news we will be discussing about what are MSMEs. Okay, what are the challenges they faced, and what are the solution which will be provided by AI. Okay, that we will be covering in this news, and this is related to GS paper 3, which talks about awareness in the field of IT, space and computer. Okay, let us discuss the news. Okay, so this report has provided a strategic roadmap to India's SMEs. Okay, So before going further, let us understand about MSMEs. Micro, small, medium enterprises. Okay. So their definition was recently changed in Union Budget. Okay. And it is based on investment and their turnover. So definition of MSMEs is important for your prelims as well as your mains. Okay. So what are the changes? Now the in micro, the investment up to 2.5 crores and turnover up to 10 crore is considered as micro enterprises. Small enterprises are those which are from 25 crore. That means the investment is up to 25 crores and the turnover is about 100 crores. Okay. And for medium enterprises, the investment limit is up to 125 crores and turnover limit is up to 500 crores. Okay. Why we are specifically talking about MSMEs? Okay. They have a significance for our economy as well as social upbringing. Okay. They contribute about 30% to Indian GDP. Whenever you are writing about MSMEs, such type of facts can be written in your mains answer. Okay. They contribute around 45% to Indian export. A large part of women is employed in MSMEs. So that leads to women empowerment as well. Okay. So this is the significance of MSMEs. So we have covered about MSMEs and their significance. And what does this report talks about? This report talks about to overcome challenges in productivity, credit access, market reach by democratizing AI. Okay. So this is the basic context of this news. So now we will discuss about the challenge faced by this sector and how AI will overcome those challenges. So first challenge faced by this sector is operational and supply chain efficiency. Okay, so small manufacturer incur about 15 to 20% high material cost as well as the logistic cost for them is 20% higher. And we are comparing them to the large enterprises. Okay, and how this challenge will be overcome by AI? It will integrate procurement and it will monitor the supply management. So that will lead to efficiency in the whole supply chain. Okay, and it will also optimize the logistic cost and it will reduce the logistic cost as well. Second issue is of quality. Okay, so the issue in this sector is that high defect rate which leads to the compliance risk. Okay, so AI will maintain a unified maintenance and quality control that will lead to better quality of products. Okay, third issue is of sustainability, because in this sector the consumption of energy is higher as well as the waste management is inefficient and overuse of water. Okay, AI will optimize the energy as well as waste resource management as well. Okay, third issue is of financial efficiency, and SME's cost for capital is around 12 to 14%, whereas for large corporation it is 18 to 10%. Okay, so AI will better assess the credit risk assessment that will lead to better credit to the small industries. The other issues of virtual prototyping. The small manufacturers have not have that much better technology so that they can virtually prototype a product. Okay, then AI can design a real-time simulation that will lead to better products without wasting much money. The last issue of workforce and talent. Okay, so small businesses suffer from shortage of skilled labor, and AI will lead to better role skill mapping as well as cross application of adaptive learning. So these were the challenges and the role of AI in overcome these challenges. Okay. Now we will move to the next slide. In next slide, we will be discussing about PYQ. Okay, so this is a question from 2023. Okay, the question is, consider the following statement with reference to India. Okay, the first statement is, according to MSMED Act 2002, the medium enterprises are those with investment in plant and machinery between 15 crores and 25 crores. Okay, all bank loans to MSMEs qualify under the priority sector. Okay, second statement we have not discussed in this news, but first statement we have discussed. Okay, so the definition of MSME is now for medium is that it is from 25 crores to 100 crores, that is investment and turnover. Okay, this is from this amendment, but earlier also this definition is wrong. So the answer will be for this news will be B, 2 only. Okay. So this was the second main news. Now we will move to the third main news. So the third main news is that Office of Principal Scientific Advisor has also released report about AI in agriculture. So we will be discussing about how AI will be used in agriculture and what are the challenges in adopting AI in agriculture. Okay, and it is related to GS paper 3, which talks about e-technology in the aid of farmers. Okay, so let us move to the discussion of this news. So this report has been released under AI for India 2030 initiative. So let us understand what is AI for India 2030 initiative. Okay, so this initiative aimed to develop frameworks placing responsible, inclusive, as well as self-driven AI at the heart of India's digital economy. Okay, as we are moving towards 5 trillion economy, so digital economy will play an important role. So for that, AI for India 2030 initiative has been launched previously by government. Okay, and this report has been released under the guidance of Office of Principal of Secretary Advisor and Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. Okay, so this was about the report. So let us look into the key highlights of the report. First, the report talks about the potential AI usage in agriculture. Okay, it divides into three aspects. One, intelligent crop planning. Second, smart farming. Third, farm to fork solution. Okay, in intelligent crop planning. So let us understand what is crop planning. Crop planning is that when we plan crop in such a way that the result of the crop production is higher. That means the productivity of crop is higher. So report has said that it usage by using the data such as from the soil health, weather pattern, historical prices, as well as the food import and export trend, we can recommend the optimal crop. Okay, the second is that smart farming. So smart farming is basically usage of technology in agriculture. Okay, so it said that the satellite crop monitoring should be there. There should be rapid soil health analysis by using technology that will leads to better prediction as well as the better farming. Okay, the third talks about farm to fork solution. That means the supply chain of the farming should be improved from farms to the fork. Fork means your plate when you are eating the product of farming. Okay, so these three aspects are talked about in this report, and in the later stage of this report. So let us move to the second aspect of the report. In the second aspect, the report talks about the framework for developing AI ecosystem in agriculture. Okay, here also it talks about three pillars. One is enable, second create, and third is deliver. Okay, in enable, it's talk about formulating AI strategy, enabling digital public infrastructure for AI, as well as AI upskilling. So that is the part of enable. In Create, the report talks about developing innovative AI products that can be used in agriculture. It talks about establishing AI sandbox. Sandbox are basically the testing ground for anything and that can be tested beforehand. Okay. Then third is talk about delivery. That means empowering frontline extension systems as well as AI marketplace and creating awareness about the AI in agriculture. Okay, so these were the two aspects which was talked in the report. Now we will discuss about the challenges faced in the adoption of AI in agriculture. So what are the challenges in AI adoption for agriculture? The first challenge is limited exposure. Okay, so remember these type of data, or whenever you are making note for agriculture, as agriculture is a very scattered topic, write such type of data such as that fewer than 20% of farmers uses digital technology while doing farming. Okay, that is the first major challenge. Okay, this data is very important. Then lack of financial capability. That means the development and use of AI solution is capital intensive and the farmers have lack of financial capability. So that will leads to hindrance in usage of AI in agriculture. Third issue which is there in AI adoption for agriculture is fragmentation. I think most of you might be knowing that around 85% of India's farmers are marginal and small farmers. Okay. The last threat is perception of risk. Okay. In India, the agriculture is a traditional based agriculture. So whenever there is a new technology, there are perception of risk, and that's why there is a issue in adoption. Okay, so these are the major challenges. Now we will discuss one PYQ related to this news. So this is the PYQ. How is science interwoven deeply with our lives? Okay, so this is the first aspect. This is not related to this discussion, but the second aspect of this question is related to our discussion. Okay, so second aspect is what are the striking changes in agriculture triggered off by science based technologies. Okay, so when we were talking about the first aspect of the report, that was smart farming, better farm to the fork solution, such type of solution can be written here. Okay, and you can write about the Indian agriculture in introduction and ways to adopt these technology in agriculture in conclusion. So this was the PYQ. It was asked in 2020 mains. Okay, whenever you are reading news, please relate to them PYQs so that you can better understand the usage of that news. Okay, now we will move to the next news. So the next news is Food and Agriculture Organization has released the report known as Global Forest Resource Assessment. Okay, in this report we will discuss about the key finding of this report. Okay, and basically what is forest in the context of India. Okay, and it is related to GS paper 3, which talks about environmental pollution, degradation and conservation. Okay, so let us move to the discussion of this news. Okay, first let us understand about this report. Okay, so this report is released every 5 years. So we are in 2025, so previously it might have released in 2020. Okay, and it is published during Global Forest Observation Initiative. Okay, so whenever you are reading such type of information, please be very curious about such type of information, that what is Global Forest Observation Initiative. Okay, so this initiative is a flagship program of the group on earth observation. Why this is important? Because India is a member of group on Earth observation. Okay, whenever India is a member of an international forum or international organization, such organization become important for your UPSC preparation. Okay, now we will discuss about the key highlight of this report. Now let us look into the key highlight of this report. So first we'll discuss about the India's forest extent. Okay, so India's position is at 9th in term of total forest area globally. In the last report, India's position was at 10th. Okay, and now India accounts for 2% of global forest area. Okay, so this was the major finding related to India. Second, the forest extent is around 32% of the global land area. Okay, so 32% of the global land area is forest. Okay, and when we talk about in terms that which area is the highest, so highest area is in tropical region, then followed by boreal, then temperate and subtropical domain. Okay, so let us discuss about this. Okay, so this is basically the biomes. This is tropic, then subtropic, then temperate, then boreal and polar. Okay, okay, please write down in the comment section that is boreal forest present in southern hemisphere. Okay, please write in the comment section, is boreal forest is there in southern hemisphere. Okay, so this was the second major finding. Third, that deforestation has slowed, but in certain continents such as South America and Africa, the deforestation is still high, but it has reduced when compared to the 1990 findings, but still it is there in these continent. Okay, so the next information which is given in the report is about natural regeneration. So natural regeneration means that the forest is generating by themselves, and by what percentage? By about 90%. Okay, and it also talk about carbon stock. Okay, so the forest carbon stock have increased to 714 gigatons. Okay, the carbon stock here means is that the carbon stored in forest. Okay, so this is the meaning of carbon stock. Then lastly, the report talks about disturbances. So it has divided in two parts. One is tropic and subtropic. Another one is temperate and boreal. So in subtropic and tropic, the fire is the prevalent reason for disturbance. And in temperate and boreal, it is insect, disease and severe weather. So these are the findings of this report. Whenever you are writing about India's achievement in sustainable development or as well as the protection of environment, we can write about the findings of this report. Okay. Now we will discuss one PYQ. Okay. The PYQ here is a particular state. Please read this question carefully because you have to answer this by using chat GPT, or you can use the Google map. So question is of 2012 prelims examination, and the question says that a particular state in India has the following characteristic. The first statement is, it is located on the same latitude which passes through the northern Rajasthan. Okay, first statement. Second, it has over 80% of its area under forest cover. Okay, and the third statement is, over 12% of forest cover constitutes the protected area network in this state. So options are Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand. Okay, please write down the answer in the comment section. Okay, the second PYQ is of mains of 2022. The question talk about the most significant achievement of modern law in India is the constitutionalization of environmental problem by the Supreme Court. Okay, so it talks about the discuss the statement with the help of relevant case laws. Okay, so in this news we have not discussed about the case laws, but there are many case laws such as Godavarman case of 1996. It is about definition of forest. There is also about MC Mehta case. It talks about doctrine of public trust. Okay, so such types of Supreme Court judgment are there related to conservation and the constitutionalization of environmental problems. Okay, so such types of question can appear in examination. Okay, and for this part, please write down the answer in the comment section. This is an easy. If you open the Indian map, you can eliminate at least two. Then you can read the second and third statement information and write down the answer in the comment section. So now moving to the next news. Next news is about Sevilla Forum on debt launched. Okay, in this we will talk about debt sustainability and what was the Sevilla commitment. Okay, and it is related to GS paper 3, which talks about economic development. Okay, so let us discuss this news in detail. Okay, so what is the context here? The context here is that Sevilla Forum on Debt is launched at the 16th session of United Nations Conference on Trade and Development. Okay, so this is the context. And what is the aim? It aims to tackle the entrenched debt crisis in developing countries. Okay, so we will talk about the issue of debt in developing countries in the upcoming slide. Before that, let us discuss about this Sevilla platform for action. Okay, so this is one of the outcome of the 4th International Conference on Financing for Development. Okay, and the other three are Debt Swap for Development Hub, Debt for Development Swap Program, and Debt Pose Close Alliance. Okay, so what is Debt for Development? Debt for Development. So basically, suppose a sovereign country is due for debt. That means creditor have given some debt to a country. So that will say that you can invest that debt in some development project and we can swap that for development. That means debt for development. And what is this pause clause? The pause clause is whenever there is a crisis, the creditor will say that you can stop giving the debt services. That means the interest which has to be paid to the creditor. Okay, that is the meaning of pause clause alliance. Okay, and it was launched at the 4th International Conference on Financing for Development. Okay, now let us understand about Sevilla Forum on Debt. Okay, it is launched by Spain. Okay, so which country has launched it? It is launched by Spain. Okay, and it is supported by UNCTAD and United Nations Department of Economics and Social Affairs. Okay, so this is very important. These two bodies support this forum and it is led by Spain. Okay, and it is, what is the aim? Okay, it aims to bring together all stakeholders. That means international organization, creditor, developing countries, okay, and international forums as well, to debt sustainability management and innovative solution. Okay, so this is the aim of this forum. Okay, this initiative will complement the Sevilla commitment. So let us understand what is Sevilla commitment. Okay, so Sevilla commitment lays out a path to close 4 trillion annual SDG financing gap. So by this information, it is clear that there is a 4 trillion gap in achieving SDG in developing countries. Okay. Second, it is the first intergovernmentally agreed financing for development framework since 2015. Okay. Before that, it was Addis Ababa Action Agenda. Okay, in 2015, and after that, this is an first international governmentally agreed commitment. Okay. Now let us discuss about the debt crisis in the world and more specifically debt crisis in the developing nation. So total debt of the world in 2024 was 102 trillions. Okay, the total debt was around 102 trillion, and for developing countries it was around 31 trillions. What does that mean? That means that developing countries was paying around 1.4 trillion interest to the creditors. Okay, that was the first issue. Second issue is that around 3.4 billion peoples are living in those countries where the country is paying to the interest of the debt more than what they are investing on health or education. So that was about the debt crisis. Now we will look into the PYQ. This PYQ is not related to this news, but we can see how reports or how question can come on such type of development. So the question here is of 2021 mains, which asked about the describe the major outcome of the 26th session of the Conference of Parties to the UNFCCC. What are the commitment made by the India in this conference? Okay, so this is related to other conference, but when this development has taken place, that is Sevilla Forum on Debt. So they can ask about this forum and what are its commitment and what are the other commitments such as debt for development swap, close and alliance. So such type of development should be remembered if there is a direct question that can be come in mains examination. So now we will move to the next news. Next news is related to the implementation of early warning for all. Okay, in this we will be discussing about what is early warning for all, as well as why there is need for early warning system. Okay, and it is related to GS paper 3, disaster management. Okay, so let us understand what is the context. So this is the 75th anniversary of WMO, that is World Meteorological Organization. So whenever there is such type of anniversary, such type of organization become very important for your prelims as well as mains. Okay, so WMO is a UN specialized agency. Okay, and it has released early warning for all in focus hazard monitoring and forecasting report. Okay, and what does this report talks about? This report track progress in detection, monitoring, and forecasting capabilities. Okay, so here two information is very important. One, this is the 75th anniversary year of WMO, and it has released a report that talks about early warning for all in focus. Okay, and what does report highlight? It highlights gap in basic forecasting capacity and low compliance with the global basic observation network, as well as limited satellite data usage. Okay, now we will understand about early warning system as well as the early warning system initiative for all. Okay, first let us understand about early warning system. Okay, so suppose there is a disaster here. We can divide the disaster phase into three aspects. One at the time of disaster, one before disaster, and another one is after disaster. So the early warning system is for before disaster. Okay, that is preparedness and prevention. At the time of disaster, we basically respond, and after disaster we recover from the disaster. So whenever you are writing a answer about disaster management, you can divide your management in the answer in three phases, that is before disaster, at the time of disaster, and after the disaster. So early warning system is for before disaster. And what does it talk about? It talk about an integrated system of hazard monitoring, forecasting, credit risk assessment, communication and preparedness, which aims at enabling early action to save and protect lives, livelihood and asset of the peoples. Okay, so this is the basic definition of early warning system. Now we will understand what is the need for early warning system. Okay, so if there is an early warning given in the first 24 hours, it will lead to reduction of 30% of damage. Okay, that is the first main advantage of early warning system. Secondly, disaster mortality is 6 times higher in the countries where there is no early warning system. Okay, so that is the second major aspect why we need early warning system. Thirdly, the economic damage over 4 trillion US dollar has taken place globally since 1970 because of lack of early warning system. So these are the three major aspects why we need early warning system. Okay, now we will understand about this early warning initiative for all. Okay, so what it aims for? It aims for ensuring universal protection for hazardous hydrometeorological, climatological and related environmental event through life-saving multi-hazard early warning system by 2027. So what is the timeline for this? 2027. And when it was adopted at COP27 in 2022. So basically such types of question also comes in prelims when they ask like when this initiative was adopted. Okay, so it was adopted at COP27 of UNFCCC in 2022. Okay, and what are the organization which are leading this initiative? So it is jointly led by WMO, that is World Meteorological Organization. Second, United Nations Office for Disaster Risk Reduction. Third, the International Telecommunication Union. And fourth, the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies. Okay, so these are the organization which is leading this initiative, and initially it was launched for 30 countries. Okay, when it was launched in 2022, it was launched for 30 countries, but now it is there in more than 100 countries. Around 108 countries are participating or are implementing this initiative. Okay, so these were the main news for today. Now we will discuss quick update for today. So the first quick update is about edible oil. Okay, so what is the context? The context here is that Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution has amended the Vegetable Oil Product Production and Availability Order 2011. Okay, so there was a question in prelims as well about the edible oil. It was about basically about the import of edible oil. Okay, so what was the amendment about? The amendments mandate the registration of all stakeholders involved in the processing chain of edible oil. So this was the amendment. More than amendment, we have to look into the edible oil sector in the India. Okay, so India is ranked 4th in the world in the vegetable oil market. And what are the first countries? United States, China and Brazil. Okay, you should remember the first countries because it is often seen that UPSC is asking about the first countries like which is the largest exporter of gold, or who has the largest reserve of gold, who is the largest exporter of basmati rice. So such types of questions are coming in UPSC prelims. Okay, so important factor here is, or the important data here is that India import around 57% of its edible oil demand. So the question was related to this. Okay, so this was about edible oil sector in India. Now we will move to the second quick update, that is about tapioca. Okay, and what is the context? The context here is that a study highlight the successful use of wasp for pest control in tapioca plantation. Basically, there was a invasive bug which was damaging the plantation of tapioca. So they have released a wasp which can eat away that bug. So that is the context here. Let us understand about tapioca. So they are also known as cassava. Okay, and it is a tropical tuber crop. Okay, and where it is cultivated? It is cultivated majorly in Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh. Okay, so this is the basic fact. And about 80% of the total acreage of the crop is there in Kerala and Tamil Nadu. Okay, and last, we will understand about its application. It is used as raw material for starch extraction in yarn, textile and paper industries, as well as in manufacturing of sago. Okay, so this was about tapioca. Hey, so the next quick update is about International Convention for the Suppression of Financing of Terrorism. Okay, and why it is there in news? First of all, it is there in news because Iran has ratified it. And why we are reading it? Because India has also ratified it earlier, not now, but India has already ratified it. Okay, so such type of conventions are important where India has ratified those convention. Okay, now let us understand about this convention. Okay, so it was adopted by UN General Assembly in 1999. Okay, and it has entered into force in 2002. Okay, so as you might know that the finance is the lifeline of terrorism. Okay, so this convention aim at curbing the finances for terrorism. Okay, and its purpose is that criminalize the financing of terrorism and hold funders of terrorist act as accountable. So basically it tries to stop the lifeline of terrorism. Okay, so this was about this convention. So next quick updates is JIMAX 2025, and here context is that INS Sahyadri is taking part in this, and which is in participating in sea phase of JIMAX 2025. Basically it has two phases, one is sea phase and another one is harbor phase. Now let us understand about JIMAX. It is a biennial naval exercise. Okay, so it was started in around 2014. Okay, and it is organized to enhance maritime cooperation between Indian Navy and Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force. Okay, so it is a maritime exercise between Indian Navy and Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force. So that is very important, and it has started in 2014. Okay, so these type of facts can be remembered. Now moving to the next a quick update, that is about the state of global air report. Okay, so it is not that important because it is released by some NGOs and bodies of USA, but we can look into the findings of it, which can be written in your mains answers. Okay, so the context here is that this report is released by Health Effect Institution and the Institution for Health Metrics and Evaluation of United States. Okay, and what are its key findings about air pollution in India? As if you are staying in Delhi, you might have seen a lot of smoke in and around the recent days. So it talks about that around 2 million deaths in 2023 in India were linked to the air pollution. Okay, second finding about India is that ozone pollution in India is the third highest in the world. Okay, and it also talks about exposure. It talks that around 75% of population of India is exposed to PM 2.5. Okay, and it also praised the Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana. Okay, so please write down in the comment section that what was Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana for. Okay, and how does it praise? That it suggests that transitioning all PMUY household to exclusive LPG use would avert more than 1,50,000 deaths annually. Okay, so please write down about what was the Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana for in the comment section. Okay, now let us discuss the next quick update. It is about methane emission. And what is the context here? That context is that UNEP has released its 5th edition of its International Methane Emission Observatory publication. And what is the name of this year publication? The name is An Eye on Methane from Measurement to Momentum. Okay, now let us look into the key highlights. It says that atmospheric methane continues to be the second biggest driver of climate change after carbon dioxide. Okay, that means the carbon dioxide is the biggest driver of climate change. Okay, and it says that methane is over 80 times more potent than CO2. Okay, for trapping the heat, but it does not live for long. It only live for 7 to 12 years, whereas CO2 lives for the longer period. Okay, and what are the major source? In 60% of emission is resulted from human activities and 40% from natural emission, and in which wetland is the largest contributors. Okay, so this is the major fact, that the largest contributors are wetlands. Okay, so this was about this news. So the next quick update is about quantum echoes algorithm. Okay, so the context here is that Google's Willow quantum chip has demonstrated the first ever algorithm called quantum echoes algorithm to achieve verifiable quantum advantage on hardware. Okay, so verifiable means that it can achieved over and over again. Okay, and let us understand about quantum echoes algorithm. First of all, it is an algorithm that successfully run 13,000 times faster than the world's strongest supercomputer. Okay, so let us write, or please write down about the strongest supercomputer in the world. Okay, please write down in the comment section the name of the strongest supercomputer in the world. Okay, and as I have already told you, that quantum verifiability means the result can be repeated to get the same result. Okay, so this technique work like a highly advanced echo. Okay, basically they have said that suppose there is a submarine which is going below the ocean, so sonar can predict where this submarine is flowing, but due to this according to this technique, they can also predict the name written on that submarine. That is the preciseness of this algorithm. Okay, so this was the second last quick update. Now let us discuss the last quick update, which is about the Patna Sahib Gurudwara. Okay, and why this is in news? Because sacred Jore Sahib are being carried through the Guru Charan Yatra from New Delhi to the Bihar's Patna's Sahib Gurudwara. So let us understand about the Sahib Gurudwara. As I have already told you, it is located in Bihar and it is one of the 5 Takht. What are the other 4 Takht? That are, one Takht is in Amritsar, another one is Anandpur Sahib, then in Bhatinda, and another one is in Nanded. Okay, so these are the 5 third. One is in Bihar, then Amritsar, Anandpur Sahib, Bhatinda, and Nanded. And what is its historical significance? Okay, the construction of this Takht was commissioned by Maharaja Ranjit Singh in the 18th century to mark the birthplace of Guru Govind Singh Sahib. Okay, so that is the historical significance, and its architecture is blend of Mughal and Sikh style. Okay, so these were the quick update for today. Please try to solve the quiz which is visible on your screen, and for more information you can read about our other initiative and solve smart quiz on our digital current affairs platform. Thank you and all the best for your preparation.